this on tape that it actually happened. There you go.
私立
Hey.
お城回って右ぎと直す
Hey. There you go.
Showman.
There you go.
Domo onigash shimasu, sensei.
Very close. First, you say sensei de. There you go. Now you say dozo onegaishimasu. So what you're saying is you're bowing to whomever. Doesn't matter who it is. And then you remember what dozo onegaishimasu? Dozo onegaishimasu.
Please teach me.
Right. So yeah, it means. I think it actually really means please train with me. You know, kind of thing with that. But it's essentially that's it. Right. Hey, all right. Good job.
Konbanwa, sensei.
Wow, how's it going? All right, cool deal. So, try stance. Actually, you did such a good job last time. Warm us up.
Hi, sensei. All right. Not up and down.
There you go. And so the secret that your senpai may have told you, may not have told you, is when you're doing your warm-ups, I recommend starting from the top and working your way down, right? So if you can't remember what's next, just think about what the next part of the body is down, or the side that you have.
Head back to the center.
Right.
Side to side.
There you go.
Head back to the center. Take it around.
I can go. All right. Everyone's coming into the campsite now, so we were like basically alone in here for 3 days.
Other way.
Okay.
Right, head back to the center. Left arm out. Take it around.
Oh. Who that? Back.
And across.
Hey, good, don't you?
Hey, hello, Sensei.
How you doing?
Good.
Just in time. Just in time.
And other side.
You're oh.
Just in time for what, Sensei?
Some awesome Colton warming us up action.
Nice. What?
He gets
The lesson.
He gets his
And
strike.
across.
Immediately becomes a senior guy.
Well, if I'd known it was just you two, I would have stayed out a little longer to see how much he remembers. See if any of this teaching's sinking in.
All
right.
Well, I suck.
Hands to your sternum and rotate.
Hands to your sternum and rotate. Ooh. Hang on. You guys keep going. I've got to go handle a dog here. Hang on.
Hey,
Okay. Now hula hoop. Other way. Okay. Now, press your left heel down and reach for the sky.
all right.
Switch sides. Okay. Left leg out. Chicken pecs.
Hey now, Colton, the one thing you want to make sure that you do is turn sideways. So you're 90
Sideways.
degrees. There you
Right.
go. And there you go. So the idea is, right, you're not doing 45. You're turning that foot 90 degrees. And then you're leaning down kind of at 90 degrees and pushing with your chest. Try and touch your toes. Right?
Tight senpai.
Back straight.
There
Kind of like
you go.
the opening for Fukugari Ichi and Ni.
Okay, switch sides. Okay. Feet forward. Bend over, touch the floor.
I don't have any floor. I have the very living rock and dirt and some leaves, I guess.
Okay, take it out. Do the splits. Deep breath. Okay. Stand up.
You may have stepped off camera.
Okay. B crescents.
Right?
Okay. Left foot back. Axe kicks.
How do we say left foot back?
I do not remember.
What's left?
I don't remember that either. Switch.
With an H.
Heiko Dutch.
Nope. Close. Hikodachi is your feet shoulder width apart. Hidari.
What was
Hidari. Hidari.
that? Hidari.
Hidari. Ashi, which means foot, and back, which means ushiro. Right? So Hidari.
Hidari. Ashi Ashiro.
Ushiro. Yep. There you go.
Ashi. Sure.
And if you want to switch, it's what's the right? What's the word for right?
I do not know.
Starts with an M.
Mashi?
Not Yugi.
Migi.
Migi.
Migi Ashi Ushiro means right foot back.
Then Migi Ashi Ushiro.
There you go. That's the ticket.
And left foot back again.
Which is
Hido Ashi Ashiro.
close. Hidari Ashi Ushiro.
Hidari Ashi Ashiro.
There you go. Yep. Hidari Ashi Ushiro.
Crescent kicks. Migi Ashi Ashiro.
There you go. Good.
Hey.
Okay. Hands on your knees. Take them around. Other way. Okay. Roll your ankles.
Are you using someone else?
Okay. Grab the gi. Okay. Shake out the wrists. Turn them around. Okay, flick the fingers.
Go.
Okay.
All right.
Everyone feeling warmed up?
Almost.
I don't think so. I think the senpai still needed a little more warming up.
Hi.
What are you doing there, Dai senpai?
Rolling the ball.
Oh.
Just getting
Hi.
the wrist twisted and stuff like that.
There you go.
Okay. Now I'm warm.
Now was it? That's peak warmth.
Yep.
Right on. Good job. All right. Well, since young Colton, you did such a good job leading the warm up. Do some basics.
Hi.
Let's just do 5. I want to get them working on some nippons or something. Well,
Nice and tight.
Hi. Okay, first. Chudan Nikai Tsuke.
Hey.
look at them go.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Roku. Sitch. Hutch. Ku. Jew. Hey. Sensei, you said you wanted to do 5. Was that what you wanted? What I just did?
No, just do 5. And then stick it in Bible.
Hi.
So we'll basically be doing different techniques up than we do back.
Hi.
Or you can stay in one place and just take one step like I'm doing.
Hey.
Hi. Jogan Nikai Tsuke.
Hey.
Hey, he's on fire.
Go. Hey.
All right, here's your first big test.
Hi. It's sweep punch block,
Hey.
and I do not remember the Japanese for it.
All right, so the first part is ashi o moashite. Ashi, your foot. O moashite, which is sweep.
Ashi o
Moashite.
mawashite.
Right. And then the next thing you should know. So this, you just said it.
It's punch, so Suki.
Right.
What level?
Shudansuki.
Yeah, Chodonsuke.
Right.
And
And
then Chodon Uke.
there you go.
There it is. Good job.
There you go. Good. This is part of your next rank requirement, Japanese. So that's why we're working on it.
Height.
I what? I senpai.
Height, senpai.
What's the number one? What's the number one rule of the dojo?
Step stance technique.
No. Every class is a test.
Hey,
Height. Itch. Knee. Son. She. Go. Hey.
Good.
Then crossbody block, Ushiro Uke.
close. Very close. Uchi uke.
Started with
Uchi
the right
Uke.
vowel.
There you go.
Height. Itch. Knee. Son. She. Go. Hey. Kake uke.
There you go.
There we go.
Itch. Knee. Son. She. Go. Hey. And Shuto uke.
Hey,
Hey, he's on. Bang it on there. Good job.
remember, don't get too tight. Get it out.
Itch.
Distance.
Knee. Son. She. Go. Next would be Chudan Nikai Tsuke Ich Kiai.
Hey, good.
Right on. Well done, Colton.
Itch. Hey. Knee. Son. She. Hey. Go. Hey. And get on uke.
Hey,
Itch. Me. Son. She. Go. Hey. Hey. Shodan uke.
you sure?
Oh, no, Chudan uke. Double bone.
Hey,
Good job.
Itch. Knee. Son. She. Go. Now, Jodan uke.
There you go.
Itch. Knee. She. Go. Hey! Next is Gary Zuke, punch kick under.
Switch.
No,
Right.
Zuki Gary. Other way around.
There you go. Good. Yep. Kick punch under is a lot harder to do. You're just like, ugh. Not quite the same.
Hi.
I what?
Hi, senpai.
Hey.
No slacking.
H. Me. Son. She. Go. Play. Then my Gary. No, no, it's just Chodon Zuke.
How many?
Just one. Each ki.
Right. So Chudan Ippon Suki Ichikiai. Ippon means
What
one.
Ippon. Okay.
That's
Hi,
why,
senpai.
when we do one-step sparring, it's Ippon Kumite. One step.
H. Hey. Me. Hey. Son.
Hey.
Hey. She.
Hey.
Hey. Go.
Hey.
Now, my Gary.
Hey.
There we go.
H. Me. Son. She. Go. Next one is front block kick to the side. I don't remember all the Japanese. I know kick to the side is Yoko Gary.
Hey. So the current terminology in the handbook is Mayuke Yoko Kingiri. The terminology as provided by Oliver Sensei is Mayukite Yoko Ukite Maigeri. So it's up to Sensei as to how we want to do it.
Well, let's just stay with what's in the book right now. I gotta sit down and look at his terminology. I'm sure his terminology is correct because he got it from Tsunomi-san, but so did I.
Right. So Mayuke Yoko Kingeri.
There we go.
Hi, senpai. Mayuko Yoko King Gary.
Mayuke.
Mayuke.
My uke.
Mayuke.
Leg.
Hi.
Front block.
Okay. Block. Yeah.
Yoko Kingeri. And it's Kingeri because it's the top of the foot, correct?
I'll take your word for it, senpai.
I'm asking Sensei.
I think so, but I mean, that wouldn't be right? Because you're not really kicking with the top of the foot. You're kicking like we're supposed to. So it probably should just be my
Okay.
Getty.
Hey. Sorry, didn't mean to derail, Sensei.
It's okay. Happens to me also.
Okay. Itch. Me. Son. Chi. Go. Hey! Okay, next is shin kicks. Starts with an S. Shisoto Gary.
So close.
Not quite lit.
Oh,
So
close.
close. Shioto.
Shioto.
There you go.
Shioto
There
Gary.
you go.
Stress in there.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hey!
Don't forget to look where you're kicking.
Hi, senpai.
Could become real important on that next one.
Next, which is Yoko Gary. Side
There we
kick.
go.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go.
Good.
Next is front side kick, Zempo Yoko Gary.
Hey.
Hey, good job.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hey! Okay. Next would be Mawashi Gary.
Hey.
Roundhouse.
Now, remember all the way back to the beginning? How do we say left foot back?
Starts with an H. Hishiro Ashi.
He is working hard.
Hishiro Ashi Mas.
Hidari.
Dare him.
Hidari.
Hidari. Ashi.
Ashi.
Back.
Ushiro.
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 There you go.
Okay.
You had the elements there, just all kind of jumbled together. Hidari. Ashi.
Hidari Ashi Ushiro.
Hey.
Ashi Ushiro. Hidari Ashi Ushiro. Hi. Let's do low, medium, high.
There we go.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hey!
Keep your hands up. You don't let your hand drop when you do that kick. Keep it up.
Height sensei.
Yep.
Now, switch. Me, Ashi Ushiro.
There we
Hey,
go.
there you go. Good.
Saying that with authority. Right on.
Ich. Me. Son. She. Go. Fight. Next is back kick. Ushiro Gary.
Hey,
There we go.
what's the most important thing about this kick?
Look where you're kicking and keep your head above your butt.
Right? And what's the most important thing about this kick? How does every kick stop and start?
Every kick starts and stops the same way.
There we go.
We can do low, medium, high.
Maybe you can.
Right?
Each. Knee. Son. She.
He's up.
Go.
Unless you broke your knee.
Hey!
No, I just got a little off center.
You have always been a little off center.
Okay.
Right.
Now, Yoko Gary, my Gary.
Hey,
I have no idea where to place my feet.
Hidari Ashi Ushiro.
there you go.
Now I know where to put my feet.
Hi. Glad to help, Sensei.
That's good. You're gonna have those dirty, tense cues behind you. That you gotta. It's like herding cats, man. You gotta direct them.
That's right.
Hi, Sensei. Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hey. Switch. Migi Ashi Ushiro.
Hey,
Umpire.
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hidari Ashiyashiro. Now, my Gary, Yoko Gary.
There we go.
Ich. Me. Son. She. Go. Switch. Migi Ashiyashiro.
Hey, there you go.
Ich. Me. Son. She. Go. Hey!
Good snap, Drew. Good snap.
hey. Arigato, sensei.
Oh.
That was. Let me just take a little aside there, mostly for you, Kudansha, but also for you, Olson, as a burgeoning leader in this dojo. is that's what I was talking about with Sarah last class. Is that snap is she's starting to get her stuff in, but we got to remember that it's not. Well, way back in the 20th century when I started training, it wasn't a side kick and it wasn't a front kick. It was a side snap kick and it was a front snap kick.
Height, sensei. Remember the snap.
That's super duper important. Is that snap? It's getting in and coming out. Getting in and coming out. It's supposed to go out fast and come back fast. Much like a snap. So, all right.
Height, sensei.
On the other one, please.
Next is kihon uke, fast and slow. Each, ni, san, shi, go. Roku. Sich. Hutch. Ku. Ju. Height. Next is reverse punch. I do not remember the Japanese for reverse.
Gayaku. Gayaku.
Gayaku. Gayaku Chodan Suki.
Hey. Just Gayaku.
Just Gayaku Suke.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would telling us to be Chodan Jakuzu, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone do anything other than a metal punch. Reverse punch.
Nice. Sensei.
Height. Ich. Height. Ni. Height. San. Height. Shi. Height. Go. And next, be block sweep jab. It's a long one. I do not remember that either.
Well, break it down.
Block. The block is Chodan uke, sweep,
Close your fist. The other one. What does that look like?
Kake uke
There you go.
There you go.
and jab. No idea.
Nukite.
Nukite. Okay.
So,
New
the
kid.
thing-
Chodan
Nukite.
uke, kake uke, nukite.
right? Just remember, when we're talking about the blocks, whether the hand is closed or open, doesn't necessarily matter. It's what you're blocking with. So don't get hung up on the fact that your hand's open. It's still kakeuke, just like we've always done. Chudanuke, kakeuke, it just happens that your hand is open, right? And you're gonna grab.
Hi, senpai.
Right?
Ich. Ni. Son. She. Go. Hey!
The marginally quicker pronunciation of all that is Chudanuke Totesas. But that's up for debate. So until then, Chudanuke kakeuke, nukite. That describes each and every technique.
Height, senpai. Then, push-up position, or actually on your knees, let's do some knuckle strikes.
There we go.
Ich, ni, san, shi, go, roku, sich, hach, ku, ju. Right. Toe strikes. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Right. Roku, sich, hach, ku, ju. 10 push-ups. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. Roku, sich, hach, ku, ju. And plank position. Begin. All right. Stretch out your back.
Breathe. Relax, buddy.
Wakey, wakey.
Okay.
And then take a nap.
I'd like that, Sensei.
Let's get. Sensei. Look at the good Sensei.
No, the other time.
Good job.
Go to respective wells.
Hi, Sensei.
Height, Sensei.
Or, I mean, you can go to the same well, but, you know, it's cross-pollination. I don't know if you want to do that.
COVID, Sensei.
That's right. Go to your respective well.
Ooh, hey, I got some of those.
You told me I was special. He's out expecting, you know, there to be 3 or 4 people here, and I could have Colton run the class, but I'll do that next time.
Hey.
Gotta get some dirty. All right, good job. Colton, very good job.
Hey.
Domo arigato, Sensei.
One of the reasons why I have people lead class, even when you think you may not be ready, is because I think you're ready. So, but you need to go and get it out. So now you go from like being a learner to kind of being a teacher, and you learn a lot when you have to teach. So now that you've passed over into the wonderful world of Ninth Q, right? You still have a bunch of stuff that you have to work on, but you're still working on the basics. In my mind, you're still working on the basics at least until showdown.
Right.
When you do your
Hi, Sensei.
you're demonstrating that you actually understand the foundation of the system. So, and one way you do it is by teaching. Where we actually, you know, in a dojo training with one another, you would be in front of everybody doing the basics. Maybe not every class, but for two reasons. One, so you get comfortable with doing it and you're not kind of in your head. But two, because you know you have to look good, right? You can't be in the front, you know, all doing that number. That's my job. No one else gets to do that. But you, well, I mean, because it's there, you're going to raise your game. And because you're going to raise your game, your technique is going to be better. Your technique is going to be sharper. You might work a little bit harder, but at the end of the day, you're going to get more out of it because you're going to be, you know, pushing yourself internally because you have to be a good example, right? So as a senpai, you're the senpai to everybody beneath you. But when you're leading class, you're leading the class. You know, you're not some ninth school leading the class. You're the guy who's leading the class. You know, they all have to
Hi,
know how to
Sensei.
use. If you say, you know, jump, they say how high. You know, now they may gently correct you along the way as is their want, but I mean, that's what you're there for. So anyway, there's that. Junacha, so did you get a chance to show Colton the next set of tuite, or at least talk about the next set of tuite?
EA Sensei.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that because we got about a half hour, so that'll be good to kind of stumble through there. We don't worry about kushatsu. We're just going to go empty hand, karate, and do what we need to do. Okay.
Hi Sensei.
Hi.
All right. So Colton.
Before we start that, Sensei.
Yeah.
Real quick, just one comment that I did want to make, Colton, that may help. That it was something that I worked through with Zach last Thursday while we were working on his kicks. And when we're doing, Mawashi Geri, remember what we talked about even in that first set, circles and anchors. So the temptation is, like Sensei mentioned, right? Don't put your arm down, right? The other temptation is to wing it out and get your elbows flying. Think about the fact that I'm protecting my center line no matter where I'm going, right? So even if I'm turning in to do that kick, I still want to protect it. I don't want to wing out, right? I don't want to be doing this, right? Because what happens, I'm not snapping enough and they catch it. Well, I'm stuck, right? If I'm winged out, I'm just giving them a lot of targets. If I'm in, right, at least I'm still protecting my center line. So when you do these roundhouse, there you go. When you do that, think of two things. One, the circles and anchors, like keeping those hands kind of in, protecting that center line. Also think of like an ice skater, right? You ever watched ice skaters? When they start doing this, they're slow, right? When they spin, when they pull their arms in, they're much faster. So the deal is, if you start to wing out a little bit, you're giving your core more weight to rotate, right? So that's going to slow your leg down, your hip down, right? And when you're doing a mawashi, you want to get that speed in there once you're confident with technique. So the closer in that you have your hands, right, not only is it protecting, but it's also keeping your core compact to give your hips the maximum amount of power to whip that leg around, right? Because that's where the real strength of mawashi is that whip, right?
Hi, Senpai.
When you think about that, just keep your hands in, mainly to protect, not give your opponent a target, but also for inertia and body physics.
Yep.
Keep that in, right? Because the second you start doing this, you're working a lot harder to do your technique. And what do we teach at White Rock Kenshin Time?
Lazy man karate.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that is a very good analogy, Judansha. I like that about the who knew that the ice skaters stole so much from karate?
Conservation of angular momentum affects us all, Sensei.
There you go.
There it is. So, and also to extend that a little bit, if you Judansha, remember, so a mawashi geri is relatively recent to our system. Like no one, we didn't really do it. The front Zempo Yokogeri was kind of our roundhouse kick, kind of sort of. So Mawashi Geri is something that Kaicho brought in not too long ago, because a lot of people use it to in Kumite when you're standing at a distance, and that's, you know, a good one, right? It's good for catching down here, it's good for catching down here, and it's good for, but it's for engaging kind of out here, not really in the distance that we operate in, like normally from a defensive standpoint. So that's another good. You know, a lot of people when they're doing that hand thing, they're, you know, thinking about they've cleared something out, like someone's punching, they're moving and they're kicking, which is good, but it also, yes, it opens you up. So we don't want to do that. So our hands are going to be in play. Villain and referee comes in and punch, and I do a body change. I'm going to be blocking, you know, like we're doing with Bugatti each, right? Like I may be pairing one and grabbing with the other. So when I kick, if I'm, you know, down there do a leg kick or whatever, bam, or whatever, I'm going to leave this hand up, because even though I may have cleared a hand out of the way, a headbutt could be coming, right? You know, maybe I don't have full tension on that arm, so now the elbow is going to pop in and catch me or whatever. So I need to have that other hand up. If I drop it, I'm just opening that hole, and we'll have less time to react. So that's why both hands are kind of. So when you're doing this, that's why I used to, and I think probably the emphasis should always still be on the low kick rather than the medium and the high, because the medium and the high is kind of outside our normal operating range, but it's good to work out with. So anyway.
Hi, Sensei.
Hi, Sensei.
I don't know. I'll do some pretty good damage with those kicks to the floaters. That's a prime target for Mawashi Geri. Floating ribs.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, but for us, for operating the way we operate, you know, getting your foot up there might be a little bit harder for some people. So that's fine.
The other target, my other favorite target's right there. Right there.
Remember the first #1 rule of the Quicksilver system.
Well, it's been a long time.
If a man can't stand, he can't fight.
That's right. That's right.
So, anyway, so there's that. All right. So #1, if you need a piece of paper, you want to write these down, Colton, you can do that. We'll just kind of walk through them real quick. Judansho, you remember #1?
Hey. So this is gonna be interesting, but what you're gonna do is it's gonna be a same side grab. So they're gonna grab you across, you know, like this. So they're gonna grab your left hand, right? What you're gonna do is take your left hand like this, and at the same time, you're gonna bring your right hand right up underneath. So they're grabbed, and the back of their hand looks like this at this point, right? Right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come up and you're gonna hit right under their wrist with this little knuckle right here, right? So, and I forgot, since it was demonstrating, I completely missed it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna step back, right? And pull your hand up and come up underneath and hit with this bone, right? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll your hands like this. So here, let me do it a little closer, right? So they're grabbing the left hand. You're gonna step back with your right and pull back a little bit. You're gonna bring this hand up. You're gonna bring the other one up right beside it, out in front, and you're gonna hit with this bone right here, this knuckle. Boom, just like this. Right? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna come up with your right and down with, you're gonna roll them over each other. You're gonna roll just like this. Boom. Right? Boom. Yep. And so what's gonna happen is their hand is gonna be like this. Right? So they've grabbed your left hand, and you're going to bring it up. So it's going to turn their hand like this, right? You're going to come up underneath it and hit right here with that bone right up underneath. And then when you roll your other hand below this one, pull up with this one and push down, it's going to pull their hand like this and roll their fingers. And if their hand doesn't come off, you just keep prying and this is going to happen, you know. But the idea is when you step back, right, they're on balance and they're going to grab. When you step back, it's going to pull them, right? So now they're off balance, and then you're going to twist their hand up like this, and the goal is to lock that out, right? So once you have that rolled over, then you're going to shuffle in, right? You're not going to step, you're going to shuffle. Boom. Okay?
Hi.
So what are you doing with that whole sequence?
What were you asking, Sensei?
What are you doing with that whole sequence? What does that whole sequence do? I just put that together.
Are you asking me, Sensei?
Yes.
It looks familiar.
Well, two things are actually going on there. One, that looks an awful lot like
Yeah.
but yeah, Goju Shiho, right? But you're creating an anchor, and then you're making a circle, right?
Hey.
All four of the techniques in this sequence, right, and this set, you step back. Right?
Hi.
That's where you're creating your anchor. And almost always when you're doing that, you're locking their arm out or whatever. So then you're creating that anchor. And then you're going to make a circle somewhere. So in this one, when you step back, the villain and the referee has you. So when you step back, you should be doing that. That should pull them off their balance, which does what? Takes their head out from above their butt, right? Number one rule of the dojo. When you pull it out, when you're taking that step, you're not doing this. You're not going like, because someone will probably be bigger than you, but you're taking a step and you need to move back. Hips need to be forward. Shoulders need to be forward. Because you want that arm to lock out. If there's a height difference, you're a pretty tall guy and whatnot. So, I mean, if there's a height difference, if there's not that much of a height difference, you can step back and that arm won't lock out. Right? So that's what part of this, some of this is to help turn that over and lock it out. Because, you'll bend this way, but you really can't bend that way if that's opened out, right? So taking that step out, moving it up, making a circle. So you get an anchor, make your circle there, and then you're just locking it in. You're just locking that hand in. This one is kind of hard. What we'll probably have to do on this one is probably have to do a park day so you can get a little more in the details. And everyone will slather down with hand sanitizer and hold their breath, and then we'll do the technique, and then go take a shower. I don't know. 1, 2, there's your anchor, and then there's your circle. What we were talking about the core on Fukara Ichi, Fukara Ni, of making that turn, right? Engaging your core. Remember we were talking about that last week, right? Well, this is where you really start doing it on this technique. Bring it up, lock them in, keep that pressure on, and everything moves. Woo! All right.
Hey.
All right. So short of having a villain or a ruffian grabbing a hold of you, let's try that one out.
Hey.
So when you step back, right, that guy comes up. This guy looks up underneath it. Right. And shuffle forward. There you go. Oh, he has now grabbed your left hand. Step back. There you go. Shuffle forward. let him go. Yay, he ran away. Right. We won't worry about the getting the pressure part yet, because the big flick is if someone grabs you and you catch and lock them out, then that's good. Then you don't have to do that pressure, and you'll figure it out when you're going forward. When you go, don't go 1, 2. So it's all got to go. Everything's got to go. This foot has got to move, but you're actually pushing with this foot, with your rear foot. Push it up. That's your right hand. Step back, lock. Trap. Press. Slide forward. There you go. So you can see I've got there'll be an arm and whatnot under there, so don't worry about that too much. Just get your hands more or less, kind of, sort of, wrist to wrist, wrist on top of wrist, and we'll get the rest of it later. That's your left hand. Where are we at? Oh. See? Slide forward. There we go. One more. What I need you to do, Colton, and I'm sure you're doing this, Udancha, is visualize that hand, reaching across, step back, lock them up. There you go. Push them forward. Another key thing that, where you be grabbed by a villain or a ruffian doing this, when you step them out and do this, they're going to do that. That's going to, when you do the compression roll, that's going to lock that out, all right? And that's all good. They may pull, they may whatever, but if they pull and they move you and they get a little slack, they're going to put a bend in that elbow, and it won't matter. Or you get that elbow locked out, and then as soon as you get that locked out, you move, but the hands don't. Did you see that? So like I moved, but these hands don't. So when you get in there and you lock it out, you kind of need to lock your shoulders and your elbows out just a little bit, so that when they move, it all moves as one, right? Because once you lock that arm out, that's the only time you've got it. Right? So this is another sort of like everything's got to move at 1T kind of deal, like we were talking about your core, about getting both hands moving. Well, now this is the whole thing. Now you want no hands moving, but everything else has got to move. Cool.
Nice.
Hi.
Clear as mud. All right, Judansha, number 2.
All right, so the next one is they're going to reach across with their left hand, but this time they're going to grab your elbow. So you're going to have the fingers on the outside of your elbow, and you're going to have the thumb in the crease, right? So they've grabbed like this, right? It's the same side. So what you're going to do is you're going to do it at the same time. You're going to bring your hand up and capture it at the elbow, right? So you're going to grab your wrist, their wrist, sorry, and you're going to go kind of palm to palm, right? Their thumb is right here. They're like this, right? So you're going to grab this and hold that hand on your elbow, right?
Hi.
So if he's grabbing that other side, right? You know, he's grabbed. I'm going to come up here. And again, as soon as when I do that, I'm going to step back, or I'm going to, step back a little bit, right? Then I'm going to bring this arm across my body a little bit, right? I'm going to bring it across the body. I'm not going to turn, my body a whole lot. I'm just going to bring that arm across and turn my body just a little bit. And then that's going to lock that out. And then I'm going to shuffle forward again and project just like we did. So if you can see Sensei there, that's what will happen, right? So he has grabbed, right? And now he's grabbed. As soon as you trap and pivot, his arm will straighten out, right? His arm will straighten out, and it's anchored to your elbow. right? You're holding it anchored. This is your anchor point. So when you step back and pivot, it locks that arm out. Then you can just drive forward and push him back by his locked out arm, right?
Hi,
That's
Senpai.
gonna,
His hand will end up being like this, which is really painful, right? And your hand is locked, and you've turned it, and when you step back, right, that locks this arm out, and then you can push, right?
Hi.
all you're trying to do is basically get that anchor. And when I'm talking about the circle is actually going to be this way because you're going to be, your rotational power is going to be this way. You're making a circle that way, and then all your juice, your granola is going to go this way. Since that's locked out, it's got nowhere to go. So his shoulders got to go up, and if he's got bum shoulders like me, they're not going to go very far. And then that's going to lock his body, and it's going to take his body up off his feet, and then his stance is all gone. So with that, like Julian was just talking about, we always want to protect our center line, correct? So he's here. You're going to take his arm here. This is on his center line, but he's now off his center line. So when you take it in and do that step, you're bringing his arm essentially onto your center line. This is where your strength part is, right? So you're going to secure his, and the other thing, his, or her, could be her, when they grab you, as they want to do, the wrist is going to be straight-ish. When you do that move, it's going to take that wrist and make it go, so that'll take that strength out of that arm. So again, these are all concepts that we talk about. Straight wrist is strong, bent wrist is weak. You're creating a bent wrist, right? You're also using this hand to kind of secure it, give yourself an anchor, right? And put that bend in your wrist. But you're taking his little twiggy arm and putting it all in the middle of your granola right here, right? So when you step back, it's going to pull them off. So now their center line is off over there, and their arm is locked out like that. So all you need to do is push down like this. So if you take your hand, if you take your hand and do it like this, just take your arm out and do it like this, right? Take it and stretch this as much as you can out so you can feel a little pressure there, it'll feel a little pressure there. Yep. Yeah, and then just go back here and just grab these two guys right here, your finger, and just keep pushing them back, right? There'll be a certain point where it's just not going to hurt anymore, where it's not going to go like, that doesn't feel too bad, that doesn't feel too bad. When you get kind of here in the tips of the fingers, it'll probably start to hurt because it won't go anymore, right? But these are small digits and they hurt. What you're trying to do is just get that all locked out, and then all your pressure is basically going to be either here on this easy button or here on this easy button, depending on where your elbow is, right?
Hi, Sensei.
And you're just going to keep that pressure on there. So when Julian's talking about, you bring this arm out, you kind of push this elbow out a little bit, like that bone you get right here that sticks out, or maybe it's on that bone, either way. You're just going to be putting that in their arm to keep the pressure on those guys right there, and then push them. All right. So just get the big moves going, and then we'll do the rest. So, bending arm roughing is grabbing you straight across.
Right side first?
Right side first.
Right.
So you're going to step back, bring them on your center line, and secure their arm, right? Knee, bring the arm in just a little bit, and shuffle. He screams, he runs away. Grab your left side. Knee. Push it out. Don't shuffle. Yeah. So, as we were talking about last week on Fukata Each, Fukata Knee, right? About getting your arm out.
Hi.
This is kind of where you are, right? Setting up for your down block. This is kind of where you are. When they grab, I'm setting them up, and it's almost like I'm setting it up for a down block, right? But I'm not. I'm just hanging onto their hand, and then shuffling forward. step back, arm in, grab that wrist. I guess we should move closer, huh? Grab that wrist. Right. Shuffle forward. One more. Oh, step back, grab the wrist. There you go. Shuffle forward. Confusing enough. This should be fun. Number 3, Drew.
Okay. Now, they're going to reach across again, same side. They're going to grab your lapel. Right? So their hand is going to be like this. Right? So if you look at Sensei's hand, right? The way that he looks on my screen, it's like he's grabbing my left lapel. Just because I think the video is reversed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hand that's opposite the grabbing hand. So if he grabs me on my left, I'm going to take my right hand, and what I'm going to try to do is wrap my hand right around this thumb and push it back. So I want to get the meat of my hand right kind of on that thumb, right? And I want to push it in and up, right? So if you see Sensei's hand there, right, you see that action? So what you're trying to do is you're going to take the meat of your hand and get it right on that thumb. You're going to wrap your fingers over the top of their hand, and you're going to squeeze, just like you're squeezing this. And the idea is to get Sensei, you see Sensei's thumb like that?
So if you take your hand like this. Right. You're going to do the one with the trick of the thumb. All right. And then just take your fingers, right, and put them on top of your thumb. And then very gently pull it back like a trigger, right? So you're pulling it back. Man, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah, the things are backwards here at this point.
You're just kind of compressing it. But you should feel it. If you take that meaty part of your other thumb, you just do it in reverse, right? So you put kind of back of your thumb to your back of your thumbs and compress it. You'll feel it, right?
So, man, it's really hard to see this.
It's a tough one, huh? Yeah.
What you want is their hand is like this, and you want your hand, the meat part, to be on the thumb, and the rest of your hand to be wrapped around the back side of the thumb, like that, right? So what you want is their thumb right in the crook of your hand, just like that.
Hi.
And then you want to squeeze it, right, and pull it up, and back, and squeeze it. And the idea is, right, they've grabbed it, they've grabbed your lapel. So what you want to do is peel this off, because ostensibly they'll let go, because that hurts a lot, and they'll let go. Or a lot of times if you remove the thumb, they won't be able to hold the grip with their remaining fingers, right? So like just grab your lapel. If you didn't have that thumb there, it might be hard to hold on to, the lapel, right? The other part, so the idea is, right, so they've grabbed this side, I'm gonna clench their hand like this and try to peel that hand away. At the same time, I'm gonna take a little step in, and I'm gonna reach up with my pointer finger, or maybe my middle finger, depending, and my thumb, and I'm gonna find their elbow, okay? And right at everybody's elbow, they're right at the top of the bone, right? So if you can feel it, you can feel your elbow. On the inside, there's a spot, and on the outside, there's a spot, right? And so it's right at the top of that bone, And what you're trying to do is you're trying to grab that spot on either side and dig into that and kind of rub on it a little bit because it hurts a lot. So the goal is between you pushing their thumb back and squeezing their thumb and causing them pain in the thumb and reaching up and grabbing at that elbow and squeezing on those nerves that are right back there and that bone that they will let go. Right? So you do that kind of at the same time. This one's like super hard to get the concept of without actually doing it on people. Because two things. One, some people who are double jointed don't really feel the thumb thing very much. Right? Some people don't feel this. Other people won't feel the elbow thing. It's hard it can be hard to find. So it just takes a lot of practice. And even with a lot of practice, it may not work on some people. Half of it might work, the other half might not, or it might not work at all. But the whole point is you're controlling them, and as long as their fist is there, you know where the rest of them is, right? So the idea is really not to let them get so entrenched that they're really grabbing on, because then it's hard. But so the hand motion looks like this. They grab me on my left side, my right hand comes up and grabs like this, squeezes. At the same time, my left hand comes up, tries to find their elbow and dig on those little bone parts. Right? Right. So when they grab you, right, step back, right, to pull them, to help straighten out that arm. When they grab you, then you squeeze, find the elbow, and pinch, squeeze and pinch. Right? That's the technique. That's the third technique.
So you need to lead in with that sort of meaty part of your hand. When you do that step back, they've got you, and when you step back, it should open that out a little bit, because again, a straight wrist is a strong wrist. So if they grab you and kind of dig in and stuff like that, they're probably not going to dig in and like this,
Right.
They're going to be, like this. Come here. So, and chances are they won't just grab you with one hand, but or with both hands rather. They'll just grab you with one hand. But as long as that wrist is straight, it's going to be strong. So that's one of that first thing is if they grab you with their left hand, they'll probably grab you with their left hand because they're probably going to be right-handed, right? But when they grab you with that, you're going to step back, boom, and anchor it. So you get that anchor, you make your circle, and when you do, that's going to take all your core and make that wrist bend just a little bit, right? So, it'll pull and it'll lock it out, and will hopefully give you a little access in that. You can't guarantee the dirty secret of this technique is you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to get under that thumb. If you have a lot of clothes on and they dig in and bring their hands down or something like that, when you take that step, you can't guarantee you're going to get that thumb. So that step in that back, the other thing it does is it gets you away from the other weapon.
Hey.
So you catch and lock that arm out. If that arm's locked out, it's kind of hard to move around that arm. So even if you grab that arm and you're doing this, if you don't lock that arm out, they're going to be able to move around their arm. So you want that arm to get locked out as much as you can. So when that happens, you want to get a good lockout and use that arm to help lock that out, right? Because at a minimum, then they can't move around their arm because their arm's locked out, and you can do other things with it, right? Yeah, this set is kind of hard to do, solo, but let's give it a try. A couple minutes, we'll just do it. So on this one, same thing. So the referee is going to grab you. You're going to step back, boom, get that anchor, and grab, right?
Nice and safe.
Hey.
So let's do it again. Ready? Each. Yep. Neat. So this first one, they're here, right? They've got a whole left. So that's the first thing. The first thing I want to mess with is I want to grab that anchor and open it, lock out their arm. Second thing is attack the arm.
Hi, Sensei.
Hi.
The other thing this does is it does one or two things. I mean, someone grabs you and then you grab them. It's a little bit of a mental game of like, wait a minute, they're supposed to be trying to get away, and you're like, no, I'm not getting away. You're wrong. You're locked in here with me now. You know, so that's one. The second thing is it gives you spatial awareness of where they're at. Right, they're at the other end of the arm. So you got their hand, their arm's going to be somewhere. So when unless they've got like crazy gorilla arms, you're going to know where that elbow is to do your next technique. So when they grab, you grab, lock back.
Hi, Sensei.
Hi, Sensei.
Cool. I think we've gone past time anyway. All right, so we'll work more on these. So this is the second set. We'll try and maybe do that figure out some way to incorporate some Kushatsu on this one. But hey, you know, go get your roommates, your friends, or whatever, and say, like, hey man, go grab it. Grab me here. Grab me here. Grab me here. And just see what happens. No, don't do that. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
A good way to do that is for friends that, know you've been taking karate, just kind of start talking stuff, and they'll be like, get them to say, oh yeah, well, show me something. Show me something. Just show me something. And then you'd be like, all right, grab me.
Grab me here.
Yeah.
Grab me here. So, anyway, there's all that. All right. So that's step 2. Wrist grab, elbow grab, lapel grab. The next one is a shoulder grab. So that's just for grins. Okay.
And your first introduction to the amba.
Amba. I don't know if he's ready for that yet. Main fu. All right. Judan chest. Take us home.
Good. Ushiro, Moate, Migi, Gi to Obinaus. Hey. Shome. Sensei ni de. Domo arigatou gozaimasu, Sensei.
Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Sensei ni de. Sayonara, Sensei.
Sayonara.
Senpai, need Just that. So, want to give you down chest thought. Cool. Let's just see, and then, yay! You need somebody behind you, so you don't have to be. You don't have to be the dirty kohai. So one of the things I'm trying to do with that whole business is